You guys beat him in 3 rounds.
That's on you,
Did you
buddy.
think that was hard?
That's on you. I'm just trying to fly.
Is that what
Like
you
a
get
peacock,
next?
I gotta spread my wings.
Yeah, I either get fly or I get the transformation. It's gonna be sick either way.
Let's play
Yeah.
3D chess.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, so last session you guys were able to take out what's his face? Ascendus, and you got the body recovered with what's his name? Andre's character. And man, I'm really having a brain fart.
And then what's his name? What's his name?
Yeah, you know, you
Okay.
did the thing, and the wood left to the place.
And the other thing. And
Yeah,
you guys leveled up.
Tavis kid, you guys took a nap. Andre got all emotional in the forest.
Wait,
yeah.
we're in the forest now?
Yeah, we're in a forest now. So you got
Shit, I must have fucked with that one.
Popius is like, what the?
yeah,
fuck?
well, so Sal was
We're
there.
back.
Okay, Sal, so perfect. So after the fight, they were able to recover the body of Ascendus, who was the that big robot guy that you guys ended up fighting. And man, what's his name? I can't think of his character's name. Ebrath. Ebrath tried to like resurrect him, but like wasn't able to. He just didn't have enough juice in the battery tanks to do so. So he recovered the body and put it in his bag of holding. You guys escaped the castle, and after having a brief encounter with Harbin Wester Jr. and
Don John
Raskins. He said, well, look what the cat dragged in. You guys were able to come to an agreement with Harbin that if you let him go, you would never hear from him again, basically. Having been low on reserves yourselves and low on HP and spell slots, it seemed like that was the best option at the time, despite Ebrath wanting to just go in guns a-blazing. You guys were able to peacefully negotiate your way out of that one. You guys made it to the forest and, took inventory of yourselves, kind of everybody was tired after that long dungeon crawl through that castle. Ebrath had a few things to say to some of the party members. Some apologies were sent out or given out, and you wake at the beginning of a new day. What's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling?
So at this point, Zahn is kind of just awake, taking a look at the surroundings, keeping an eye, but also as I guess patrolling around our small area. Also just getting a quick bite in, kind of just, afterthought, nothing really important, like a ration or two, some water. But yeah, for the most part, just pacing back and forth. Pretty focused, I would say. And for the most part, just ready for the day to start.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Do we long rest at the end of last session?
Yeah, so everybody should have a long rest by now.
Okay.
On your character sheet, it should be like up near your health. I think there's a little fire icon or something.
No, the long rest is the circle. Short rest is the fire.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Cool. All right. Sorry about that. Just wanted.
No, perfect. Thank you.
I was asleep during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, you were.
Can I sorry, before we fully jump in, can I elaborate a little bit more on the recap? Because
absolutely, because I'm gonna refill my coffee, so go for it.
okay, so the whole thing with that breath trying to bring Blast down, we all heard that. We also discovered that Blast's body is still in the old workshop in Songfarla, which is very, very far. It's about 2,000 miles away or so.
Jeez.
And we took what seemed to be very important documents from the two different rooms in the castle, and we found a map that had two different colors. Some were marked. Some are marked where the cities are. Others aren't related to cities. We found an assortment of books and random weapons. It was a war room. Phandalin, Leylon, Neverwinter, and Waterdeep are marked with both colors. I don't remember what the colors were, probably not important. There are also some individual markings of black and blue.
The colors were black and blue.
Okay. Okay. So some of them only had one color, others had two colors. The big cities seem to have both. And then yeah, and we went into some weird shit. But I think that was probably like the most important stuff. So yeah, sorry. With that said, what were we doing?
We were just kind of wrap it up, but let's as you look over the maps,
that's what I would be doing, you know, as we're resting. And are we back in, we're still in the forest at this point?
yeah, you guys are just, you know, maybe a mile outside of where the castle was. I mean, you guys were pretty fucking tired. You guys weren't going to go on a whole forest romp after all of that. So I imagine that you guys found a you know, a safe place, you know, some ways away from where the castle was, to avoid any sort of retaliation or being tracked, you know, and bunked up for the night, and you know, we're able to get a long rest in. As you know, the morning arrives, you see Gon kind of pacing. Are you like looking over the maps, Vox?
Yeah. I'm trying to make any kind of association I can. I mean, I know these are all big cities. I'm trying to figure out why those are the only ones with two colors, while there are others that are kind of scattered about that just have like one of the markings, either black or blue.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me a history check?
Okay. It's a 9.
Man, that's a 9 for me too. Then, 999. Yeah, as far as you can tell, this seems to be marked locations. You're not entirely sure what the like correlations mean between the colors. Obviously the cities are big cities, and so that you would expect, with large populations for the most part. Some of the smaller places like Phandalin and even like Raylon, although they both have both markings, you know that they're not nearly as big as, like, let's say Neverwinter, or especially Winterhaven. Winterhaven is like the LA of the Sword Coast, you know. It's huge. People spend their whole lives and never even leave the city.
Is there anything of interest with the areas that are only marked with one color? Because you went over the cities that have both, but you said there were some areas possibly that only had one or the other.
Yeah, as you look over it, you see that there are several locations in the forest that have the little blue dots, and there are several places like in the swamps that have like a black dot. You know, off the high road between Phandalin and Leylon, you see like a little blue dot that would be marked kind of along the way. Yeah, and they definitely, you know, are being marked for a reason. The two colors are definitely appear to have significance. You're not sure what those are at this moment, and you're not entirely sure what the locations are as far as like their significance, but they're clearly marked.
Okay. Okay. I will What am I gonna do?
Are you like sharing your thoughts with the group, or what are you?
I mean, depending on who's around, I don't know what everybody else is doing.
It's whoever's here right now. So Tybalt, what's Tybalt doing
Yeah.
as he wakes up?
So, would have woken up before the rest of the group, as the sun was rising, and he would have gone to a location where he could see the sunrise, and he pulls out the goblin greatsword and sets it down in front of him as he sits down and makes the tea, as he usually does. And as he's drinking the tea and watching the sunrise, he calls out and says, I think I'm starting to understand that it's not failing. One will fail and have missteps, but it's not a sign of weakness. There are greater evils out there that no one person or 5 can take on. It's learning how to defeat the greater evil. It's winning in the end. And maybe not one God can help us, and we need more. I know the visions weren't from you. They were from someone else.
Davros.
From Savras. From Savras. And as he says that, he finishes the tea and he sets it down in front of him and says, allow me to be the vessel for any deity that may need help on this plane. Allow me to grow stronger and be the one who can vanquish the evil that you cannot.
As you finish your tea and you see the like tea leaves and the little like remnants of tea that kind of is left behind in a cup, give me either a religion or arcana check, whichever you prefer.
Okay. That is an 8.
Man, you guys are rolling low today.
Yeah.
Damn it, man. As you are saying these things out loud and observing the tea leaves, you start to feel a wind rustle around you and kind of swirl about as you can take this as a sign from the gods themselves that your aspirations are heard. And although you don't quite make the connection you want, you do get a sign that that you're heard, and that they understand your place and where you want to go, what you want to be.
All right. And before he gets up, he says, I will need your help in one thing, though. And he looks at the goblin greatsword in front of him. I need a sign to know when this can happen, when we can bring him back.
Are you interacting with the sword itself as you're like asking this?
I wouldn't have, but in order to like get back to the group, I would have had to have picked it up.
Yeah.
To
So I'll
come
say
back.
that as you wait for an answer, you don't quite get one right away. But when you go to grab the Goblin King greatsword, you're like thrust into a vision, and you see a large.
That's a raven.
What?
That's a raven.
That's so Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever she like shakes hands or like just physically touches somebody, she gets
Yeah.
a vision of the future.
Right.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was this whole thing, man. That was the show.
Yeah.
That was
I
the
never
whole
watched
concept
Yeah, that was the
of
whole
show.
concept of the show.
That's the whole
Oh, I
premise of the
didn't
show.
know that. I thought she was
Mhm.
just like I thought it was just a show about her life.
No.
Like she has actual powers.
Yeah.
That is correct.
What the fuck? You guys are lying to me.
No.
I refuse to believe this.
You need
No,
to go
I
back and watch it
refuse
now,
to believe this. There's no way that show was about a girl with powers.
It was
Yes,
about a girl who was in high
dude,
school
what do
with
you-
that
it's
power.
clairvoyant.
I thought it was
Yeah.
just
Come
like
on.
the story of the struggles of a young black girl making her
Oh
way
my
through life.
god.
That's
No.
the-
I mean, it's about that too.
But
Wait,
with
not both.
powers?
But she has powers, yeah.
No way, dude.
She's
I
clairvoyant.
honestly refuse to believe that.
Come on.
She does-
man.
What the fuck?
She does the whole like deer in headlights thing when she gets a vision.
You know what? I've seen the like gif of that, but I didn't know it was like I thought it was just like a scene from an episode.
It's like fucking Jim from The Office just looking at the camera.
Yeah.
No, that's her getting her visions.
What the fuck? Raven Baxter is a high school student who has secret psychic ability that allows her to experience short vision of future events. Often she finds herself misinterpreting these events she sees, resulting in trouble for herself, her friends, and family. What the fuck, dude? My mind is blown.
Like, you don't believe your four friends, but you go and Google it, huh?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
man.
know that my four friends are willing to lie to me for a joke.
Yeah, you're right.
Dude,
No.
I really didn't know this. My mind is actually blown right now. Like, I can't, like, I feel like what else should I believe? Like, I don't know, what else?
You
am I-
clearly never watched the show because that's the whole show.
No,
Yeah.
like I'm telling you, I never watched it. Like,
Okay, well then. Hey, can you clear something up as a point of order real quick? What happened to the core that was in Ascendus?
the core is still in Ascendus. It is has a large crack through it, and when Ebrath tried to infuse his own core with it wasn't enough juice to like restart the battery.
I remember that, but so what actually happened with it? We took the whole body, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in a bag
the
of
core's
holding.
still there.
The core's in the body, and
It's inactive though. I mean, the core is damaged.
what did we do with it?
It's in the bag of holding.
And okay,
And
okay.
yes. All right, Tybalt, sorry. As you
Okay.
put the Goblin King greatsword away, you have a vision of a castle on a mountainside and large overflowing fountains, large streams of light coming down through large painted windows, almost like a cathedral of sorts. Yeah.
Okay. And as Tybalt snaps back, I don't carry like pen and paper, but he thinks that it might be a good idea with these new abilities to carry some kind of pen and paper to write down things or draw things that he may see.
You could even say that like you just cast sending and just be like, "Hey, Vox, write this down."
Yeah.
Like like Twin
Um,
Peaks when he's like Diane, like he's got his like little recorder. He's like,
I never
Diane.
saw Twin Peaks.
Oh, dude, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it.
Yeah, everybody loves it, but I just never got around to it. Okay, so I'll head back to the group and say, at this point, it would have been, perhaps as Vox is looking at the maps. So if whoever's around, he'll just like say out loud, "Does a castle on a hill with fountains mean anything to anyone?" And he kind of is looking at Gon because he's the one that comes from royalty.
Yeah.
And
And I'll say, what exactly did you see?
can you describe it again, Ronnie?
Yeah, absolutely. You saw what appeared to be a large castle-looking structure on the like a cliff side up in like the mountains. It appears to be coastal, I would say. Like the cliff itself kind of like drops down, several hundred feet into like the like ocean kind of slamming against it, like the waves crashing along the like cliffside there. Very large cathedral like ornate windows, large fountains that are overflowing, streams of light coming down and like hitting like very specific parts of the like room that you like see. One being like an altar of sorts, almost like think in Lord of the Rings when they have the like when they go into the mines of Moria and there's that one beam of light on like the cousin's grave and he's like crying on it. Fucking Mary knocks over or Pippin fucking knocks over the book or whatever. Like think like that, but much nicer, obviously. Very you can infer that it was very, I would say, purposeful in its design, almost as if it would be used for certain types of ceremonies or like procedures or something.
Okay.
And also, Tibble asks anyone if they have any art tools or pen and paper, charcoal, anything. Even paper, I guess we can use the charcoal from the fire.
Mm,
Do some finger painting.
I would say that it would make sense that like at least one of you guys would have something like that. Like
Some
Yeah.
parchment.
yeah, I mean, I still have that book with a map on it. Use the book's papers.
So last time I used the leather skins and charcoal to sort of take an image because I still have some recreated druid runes from forever ago, but that was what I guess I'd offer that to
Okay.
both. I don't have much, but here's some leather skins and some charcoal.
That works. So I will attempt to draw what's in my mind's eye.
And as he's drawing it, Gun
okay,
is
hold on. Give me a performance check.
Okay.
Because I'm imagining like Sokka, like having these
Yeah. Me too. I'm like, this can be either really good or really bad.
Yeah, in fact, let's do, you know what? Instead of that, let's do the Brandon Lee Mulligan. Roll 2d20s and take whichever one's the furthest from 10.
Ooh, roll with
Okay.
emphasis.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
shit. I like that.
Performance. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's not using. Is it using the modifier?
Sure. Oh no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Okay.
I'm muted, but I'm listening.
I got a 17 and a 1. So the 1 would beat out the 17 in this case.
Yeah, you have like
If I use my modifier, then the 19 would win out over the 3.
okay, we'll do that.
All right.
You're able to get like a rough sketch down, where you obviously you're not like an artist, but you're able to kind of draw out like there's large fountains, there's fancy windows, there's an altar with sunlight on it, castle on a cliff, like enough to get the point across.
Okay. So I finish, and it's not the best because it's Tybalt's sort of not first time drawing something, but he hasn't drawn things since he was a kid, I'd say.
Yeah.
And he says, I think this is what I saw. And I'll like set it down for everybody to see and say it looks maybe not like a residential castle, but perhaps something more religious in nature. Maybe we should ask people back in Leylon, see if they know.
And looking at the drawing and what he described, would Gon know anything about this place? Seems like it's a pretty nice cathedral-like castle building.
Yeah.
And specifically it being on a coast.
Give me a history check.
History 21.
Yeah, damn, 21. Yeah, sure. You will have known that having, sat at many dinners and feasts that you didn't want to sit at with your parents and their guests, you would have heard tales of this temple along the coast where it is said miracles are said to have taken place, where people that have passed have been able to been brought back, essentially. You don't remember where it's at, but I think you remember enough to at least verify Tybalt's vision and give him the extra little clues that he needs to guide him when asking for information about this temple.
And so I kind of remember, that, have that sort of memory pop up in my mind and say, hey, yeah, this is not a place of worship as it first seems. I think I know this building. They used to have packed rituals, things that were actually of the opposite nature of, a church or cathedral building. It definitely is seeming like this is not exactly a place we want to go to.
Let me
means
correct you. It doesn't. It isn't necessarily like it didn't necessarily have negative connotations when you've heard about it. It was more of like a place where a certain like transaction is able to take place, and you'll remember like your parents' wealthy friends being like, oh yeah, we went to so and so, and my uncle Jimmy, we were able to bring him back, for a small fee, of course, and talking about how like, oh, don't worry about getting sick, we can always bring you back if we just go to blah blah blah.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and I guess at this point, gonna be like, well, let's just say things of the unnatural nature it used to happen there, and um, the wealthy were able to use this and engage at this cathedral in order to bring their people back, even if it was for a limited time. So um, that that works for, from my understanding, humans and humanoids. I know exactly what you're thinking, Tybalt, and I don't know the answer. It could work.
For now, let's hold on to that information. And I look back at the sword, and say, we may need to go out there to bring back Ronster, but at this point, the priority is getting one step ahead of Yularen. And he sort of just stares off into nothing as he considers the idea of having more information, being so close, knowing where to go, but just not being able to because we're being pulled in a different direction.
Did we find out how far that place is?
No,
No.
you don't know where it's at.
Okay.
Along the coast, or along the coast, so it's
Yeah.
not
And
inwards.
gone from memory has it knows about this place, but has never physically been there.
Okay.
He just has heard it in conversation in the past.
Okay.
So he's heard like mention of it and what it does.
Can you put the map up, Ronnie?
Yeah. The Sword Coast map?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see. We haven't used it in a while. It's like fucking buried in here.
Because of that,
I was actually hoping we could see where all the markings are, but if that's too much to ask, I understand. So I know
No,
it's like,
we can get there. We can get there.
okay.
Right
yeah,
about.
And
I was
in
gonna-
particular, I was looking for if what's this place called? Crypt Garden Forest is marked with any colors.
Okay, here's the map.
All right. We started
Um,
sharing the screen.
Ooh, what sort of dots does Dragon Barrow have?
yeah, we will figure that out. Give me 1 second while I find out how to do so. Okay. Sure.
Rah.
Actually. This is the song that you heard. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? I miss you so. Feels like you've been gone forever. You remember that song?
You.
Yeah.
That guy comes in all hard with those lyrics.
Yeah. Ba, 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 ba.
When you say ba 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 ba, I get reminded of that gorilla song with the
Which one?
trumpets. Ba 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 ba.
See,
But it's
and
with
I
the
get
trumpets.
reminded of
Yeah. Oh man, that wasn't what I was doing, but I get that. Totally get that.
and I get
dude, this is-
reminded of that if you were my girlfriend song. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba
Oh
ba.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
Take a look at my girlfriend.
She's the only one I got.
Yeah,
Ba 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 ba.
exactly that one.
Yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Damn it. Now I'm starting.
So Keanu Reeves is reprising his role in the Cyberpunk expansion.
Oh, cool.
What?
And also a reminder because it got announced when it first got like teased, the expansion in Idris Elba's in it too.
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
So are you working? Because I'm about to fucking interrogate you if you're not.
What do you mean interrogate me?
Oh, well, we'll see. I just want to make sure you're not like deep in some work shit.
I'm kind of in between a little bit of everything.
Okay, I'll leave you alone then.
I wish I had I need to look for like a
So?
more cool map
Icons.
Sword Coast, because like this one cuts off.
Oh.
You're there. I hear you.
Yo.
Salvador.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
That's weird. My thing just automatically muted right now.
It's weird.
It's
But I
the,
didn't hear it.
I don't know. You had the CEO mute function, bro.
Was that you, Dave, that muted me?
I didn't mute you.
No,
I wouldn't
no,
mute you. I don't think
I
I
don't
even
think you
can.
I don't think. Yeah. I don't think we have permission to do that.
About to say.
But to fucking throw hands in this Zoom
Look,
call.
let's be honest. If I had the ability to mute you, and if I was gonna mute you, I would be strategic about it. It would be at a critical moment where I'm like, well, Sal doesn't have anything to say.
Okay, so this is about what the map would look like, and if I can think of anything else, I'll add them as we go.
that's a very telling map.
That's a lot of dots.
Jesus.
Some of the dots we've already taken out.
But we don't even know what it means.
Well, you've already done so. Is anybody else looking at the map with Vox at this point? Or how
Yeah,
does as you see Tybalt kind of coming out of the forest, and you see Palpius is now like risen and is like going about his morning. Gon's off like pacing back and forth, muttering to himself. Do you bring it to their attention, Vox, or how do you like broach the subject with them?
Yeah, well, I feel like we had already sort of looked at the map together in the heat of the moment, right after it's before the battle. I think before the battles when we actually found the maps, and so I'd like to say everybody was sort of aware of them, besides probably Palpius if he was sleeping or some shit. I don't know what we're doing with his thing. Yeah, I think I definitely would bring it to everyone's attention. I mean, at this point, the maps belong to all of us, right? We were all part of it. We all tore through that castle together begrudgingly and crawling through and heartbreak left and right. And so I think they belong to all of us. I would definitely point them out. What do these mean? I think I would even sort of like interrupt whatever exchange was happening, almost kind of absent-mindedly, just like, what do they mean?
And Tybalt looks at the map and says, maybe we retrace our steps, and that could tell us what they mean. And he points to Dragon Barrow and says, let me see if the highlighter works. Yeah. Says, here's where we first met Blast's brother. We fought the undead and stopped them from bringing back the dragon. And then he points to Phandalin and says, there were more undead here. And I believe this is where we first met the cultists. And foiled their plans.
Have we been to the Wayside Inn?
No.
Yes, you have. Vox has.
Oh, what was that?
Well, it
Okay.
was at the beginning of this campaign.
That's where you guys
Okay.
first. Yeah, that's where you guys first got to the inn, and it was being attacked by zombies.
Oh,
Right.
that's where we met Tiga. Tiga?
Correct. Yeah.
With her
Yeah.
Tegan armor.
Tegan armor.
I see where you're going with this, Tybalt. I think everywhere with the black dot either has been or will be attacked by the undead.
We can't necessarily confirm, but we've
But what about the blue?
I'm thinking back to when we fought the cultists, when we met cultists. Tybalt will try and remember what if those dots align to, like, the blue dots align to like cultist activity.
Give me a history check.
And I will guide myself. History. That was 19 plus 1, 20.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. With the blue dots, you'll remember that at the loggers camp, that's where you guys were attacked by those large bugs. And you'll remember that there was an idol of one of the an idol of one of the like gods that you guys have kind of been dealing with, and a separate cult altogether. You'll remember that at the Woodland Manse, you guys were had to clear that out of all the cultist orcs that like transformed into like boars. You'll remember that also in the forest, you guys had to thwart the summoned god like creature by the Storm Lord God thing cult, that giant boar that you guys fought, the Thunder Boar.
Mm-hmm.
That was also in the forest.
Which we still have the mini for the boar.
Yeah, I think you guys do. You'll remember that in Leylon, you guys initially fought off a wave of undead and then had to fight those like sea creatures off in the bay. And you'll specifically remember that at Icespire Peak or Icespire Hold, which is where you guys fought the dragon, Yularen Mortis and Ascendus were also there with their undead.
Mhm.
So I would say it's safe to assume that these black dots are the cult of Miracle, and the blue dots would be the cult of what's his name? I don't know. Damn, I don't remember his name.
I still have his totem. I don't know if I put the name on there.
That's it, yeah.
It's not Talos, is it?
Yes.
It is Talos?
Yeah.
Talos.
That's it. Correct. That's it. Give yourself inspiration.
Cult
Thank
of
you.
Talos.
Yeah, and you'll remember that Talos is a god of storms and has been fairly active along the Sword Coast. You guys have definitely had some run-ins with them. It seems like Harbin and Don John have been mapping out their activities. Possibly, past and future. You're not entirely sure. Some of these dots don't align with places you've been to. That might be a clue.
Can we say we would have resumed looking at the map as we were heading back to town, because there's still that urgency to get back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there anything else you guys wanted to, sounds like or Vox wanted to talk to Palpius?
Yeah. So if you're available, if you're working, I won't fucking bother right now.
What do you want?
What do you want? Well, Vox has recently gotten shaken up a lot by, let's just call them newcomers in the group.
Man, you get shaken up by like a kitten walking across, dude.
Sure. Yeah, you missed a lot last session. And the session before, well, I don't know how much of it you caught. Anyway, I think Palpius, you'd probably sense where Vox even before didn't really trust you. Now he's like watching you all the time. If you make any little movements, he's just like sort of jumpy and like, the fuck. And just I think having a general sense of like unease. And even like dislike, I think, at a certain point where before Vox was probably like, all right, well, fuck it, we have this new guy, but now he's like, just doesn't even like being around you, kind of. Growing like increasingly weary of having you around. And almost, I'd say, even like when I'm sharing all this stuff about the map and the different cults and everything, I think Vox would probably be like not really wanting to share with you that much. Just again, sort of like treating you like an outsider. And at some point, I would turn to Palpius. What are you hoping to achieve here? Why are you with us?
That really don't know how to answer that actually.
What drives you? You're an orc, right?
Half orc.
Half orc. What drives you, half orc?
I've always been, you know, kind of like a mercenary. Either
As was I in a past life, Palpius, but at some point we all need to question, why are we here? What are we doing? Is it for the money? Or is there something else?
I would say that for right now, yeah, it is about the money. Although I probably would be more reserved to hold back, you know, the truth from you. Kind of like how you're treating me, casting me as an outsider. I can't really trust you and open up fully my intentions.
I need to know if I can trust you. On the battlefield, I can't be questioning your loyalty. We've recently had some I've recently had some realizations that not everybody who was who I thought they were. And by the way, I don't know if we've really talked about this or if you even have role played anything about it, but Ebrath is like liquid metal gnome guy now, or at least he was for a bit, many like flashing back and forth between flesh and like liquid metal. I don't know if you were even privy to that. Did you see any of that?
I think I remember seeing about like his wound and having that liquid metal come out, I think.
Okay.
And I think that during one session he did turn into liquid metal, I remember.
Okay. And so, you know, knowing that, I would kind of bring that up as an example. Abrath wasn't who I thought he was. I don't know about you. I don't know if it matters to you. I don't know what your morals are. But I need to know who the fuck are my companions. We're traveling together. We're in the thick of it. We're shedding blood together. We are shedding blood together. I need to know who I'm with.
And I would just look at you and be like, have I given you any reason at all during, you know, the few battles we had to question, you know, my loyalty towards this group?
You have not. It doesn't mean that you won't.
And you just got to wait it out. I can only say so much, but you seem to kind of be the type of person that, you know, actions speak louder than words. So
I guess we'll see.
we shall see.
You have a lot to prove to me, half orc.
To that said, I've been having to prove a lot to everybody being a half orc.
You're not the first half orc that we've sided with. My, dare I say, closest friend was a half orc. He disappeared one day. He disappeared one day, but I hold him in the highest of regards. You're what you were born into means nothing to me. I just know how you are with I know the type, I know the temper that you tend to have being who you are. I know there's bloodlust. I know there's a flicker in your eye that I'm still not certain of.
Yeah, like I said, you just got to wait and see. And I'll be clear, don't compare me to your half-orc friend that disappeared on you.
Okay.
Let me ask you
Yeah, I
something,
think I'll
Bob.
just kind of stare you in the eyes for a little bit before I go back to the map and just again keeping an eye on you.
Tibble just looks at Papias and says, "It's not easy being green."
Is he green? I thought
I'm
he was like,
purple.
he's purple.
What was Ragangar?
He was purple.
He's purple.
Oh, was he purple too?
He was
It's
a
not easy.
half orc, half elf.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he was
Do,
half
have
orc,
we
half
have
drow.
we talked about, or do I know what Palpius's other half is besides orc?
Not orc.
Why don't you ask him?
I guess I'll ask that in character. What, you're half orc and half what?
Half human.
Okay, but purple. That's fine.
Yeah,
That works.
purple.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go over.
We need to talk about how to prioritize now. Where are we right now, Ronnie?
You're currently in the Neverwinter Forest, just maybe a mile outside of the Cragmaw Castle.
Okay. Like north of it?
I would say to the west of it, or the east of it. Yeah. No, west.
To the west. Okay.
Yeah. So you're probably about there. Yeah, exactly.
What are everybody's thoughts? What's our next? Do we stop in town and then head to Crypt Garden Forest? What are you guys thinking?
We have to get back to Phandalin and control the information that's going
That's
to
right.
be given.
That's right. Yep. Totally forgot about that. Oh, I agree.
From
And
there,
real quick,
whatever happens.
sorry, Palpius, just for my understanding, you're half orc, half human. Who's the orc? Who's the human?
The mom or the dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dad's orc, mother's human.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so we forgot to talk about that too, right? So Don John Raskin and Harbin Wester Jr. are heading back to town. We want to control the narrative and make sure that they don't lie about what actually happened here. And we were sort of hot on their trail. So that's what the sense of urgency was beyond everything else that's happening, right? Like all the attacks and all the coordination and all these dots we just found. We needed to make sure that they don't go and say that something happened that didn't, because we know they lie. We have proof of that.
We need allies.
Right.
We
At the end of
need
the day, we can't-
allies.
We can't do this by ourselves. We need people to give us their axes,
Their bows.
their bows.
Even their forks at this point. Just
And my
don't
shield.
stab them with the fork.
Their pastries keep us fed.
They're poisonous empanadas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, with that, I think I'm ready to head back if you guys are.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Cool. I need anybody to give me a survival check. Like, how well are you guys able to remember how to get back?
I'll take that one.
God damn it.
22.
Cool. You you spent enough time in this forest that you feel like you know your way around. You forest is a favorite terrain of yours, so you are at home tracking in the forest, so you guys are able to maneuver your way through. As you guys traverse the forest and find the best path that leads you south back to Phandalin, you come across a portion of the forest where you start to hear the murmurings of what sounds like conversation. You hear what sounds like an argument of sorts between several beings over what to do about some deforestation that's happening. You hear a really gruff voice say, well, I say we find the bastard that did this and just rip his guts out. Another voice says, I say we cleave him in two. And they're generally just kind of arguing amongst themselves about how to kill this person, whoever they find that's causing this deforestation to happen. How do you guys proceed?
What are they? Is this voices at this point?
Yeah, you can kind of see like off in the distance, you can kind of see like they're too far away to really make out the details, but you can see that there are about 5 humanoids kind of standing in like a circle, kind of just talking amongst themselves. They're arguing about like how to best deal with some deforestation. It looks like there has been some trees cut down and they're not very happy about it.
Are they standing in a clearing, or is it like very wooded where they're at?
It's still very wooded. There, where the trees have been chopped down, there's obviously like a clearing, but it's very much you're still in the woods.
Well, I am partial to nature and preserving nature. Say to the group, I'm gonna go talk to these guys.
Okay. As you approach, you see that these are 4 orcs that are arguing amongst themselves. And let me take a look at my girlfriend. Yeah, and I would say you guys are
Loading.
locked and loaded.
Give me some combat tips, right?
Yeah. You can block with your shield if you hold left trigger.
Yeah.
It's
like,
a free
thanks,
action to
game.
drop prone.
Running
Yeah.
away is always a strategy.
Do you guys see the new map?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that a hole?
Well, well, well.
How the tables turn.
Nice. Turntables.
How to turn tables.
So what are you doing?
Let me get
You
a
said you're getting
closer
up to
look.
him?
Yep. I also don't like people that are cutting down trees unless there's a good reason. I haven't heard enough to know, but I think I'd like to find that out.
Yeah, I can get some more information. And with that being said, Ravi comes out, well, not comes out, but he just glimmers, shimmers is a more appropriate word to, he shimmers, and with that, he will come out, and while he's invisible, he is going to fly over and see what he sees and hear what he hears. And so Gun is going warg mode for a little bit, and he'll fly to this tree, kind of to one of the sides of the tree, not super in sight, but definitely want to get eyes on.
Well, he's invisible, yeah.
Yeah, but still don't want to risk it.
Yeah, no biscuits here. Yeah, you find these 5 orcs kind of talking amongst themselves. One definitely appears to be like in a position of like authority over the other 4. And they're kind of just seemingly investigating the area and talking about how they can't let any outsiders find them, and if what they would do to the people that they that cut down their trees, and they need to get revenge on the bastards that did this, and they're just kind of arguing amongst themselves about like what the best way to kill these people would be.
Okay. So I well, actually, besides what they're saying, what do they look like? Besides one seemingly being the leader.
Yeah, in typical orc fashion, they're kind of dressed really simply, leather armors, like a fur as like an overcoat kind of thing to keep them cold or warm. They're fitted with great axes and some javelins. It looks like this is clearly like a party that's ready to engage in encounters if they need to. They seem to be passing through the area almost as if they're on like patrol of sorts.
Guys, give me a quick second and I'll be back.
Cool.
So as I see this, I just communicate to the group and say, yeah, it looks like it's and I see all of them, correct?
Yeah. They're not really like taking effort to hide themselves. They in their head they're alone.
Yeah. And I'll say, yeah, that looks like it's a party of 5 orcs. They look like they have definitely armed. They have leather armor on for combat. On top of that, the weapons that they have, pole arms, melee weapons, and yeah, it looks like this is some sort of party. It looks like they're passing through. As of right now, I only see 5. I don't know anything else about outside of them if there's more or not, but that's what I see. And they're also talking about finding those who are you said they're trying to find the people who are chopping down the trees.
Yeah,
so they're talking about finding individuals who are chopping down these trees, and what they do to them. Then let's just say it's not a sit down type of conversation.
What are the chances that they'd allow us to help if we engage them and not just try and kill us?
Did they bear any symbols or any like emblems or anything like that?
Yeah, I will say that they do all appear to have a very distinct and particular like set of like war paint of sorts. If it definitely looks like identifiable, if that makes sense. Like I don't know how much you know about orc and orc culture.
Well, I will with Vox saying that, I'll take a look and describe the symbol or icon that I see in the best way possible, and this is to everybody maybe not one of us will know, but maybe, well, not all of us will know, but maybe one of us will know.
Yeah. The one that would know is the way at the moment.
It's not here.
I figured.
But yeah, you see that there is a very prominent and like I said, very distinct like war paint on their face, and you see that it has like white that's kind of like from the middle of their brow like up to the like their hairline, and then like several other lines that kind of like line the like forehead, almost as if they're like almost as if they are giving off the visage of like a crown made from bones. They have two white streak or like several white streaks kind of coming down their cheeks, and they're all very uniform, very like very what's the word I'm looking for? Like this is like their like clan kind of like symbol, or that this is the way that all of their warriors and their clan would do their like war paint, like that's their like identifiable sort of markings, so that when
Gotcha.
they're like in battle, if they encounter other orcs or something that don't have their like the same war paint, they would know that these aren't their homies.
Okay. So, I pretty much end up describing that to the group, saying, yeah, it looks like these guys are marked with white stripes running down their face on both ends. All of them share these markings or paintings. On top of that, they also carry an icon with a crown made of what looks like skulls. To me, it's not too familiar. I don't know if any of you would know more.
It's not the orcs that we ran into a while back, right? When we were still with Rigongar.
I don't think so.
Give me a history check.
I
Can I help? I'd be trying to remember too.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Do it with advantage.
History. I'll guide myself.
Well, that's just cheating.
Sal's back, by the way.
Cool.
13.
13.
With advantage?
Yeah, that was with advantage.
That's fine. You don't recall ever seeing war paint similar to this.
Okay.
Sal, are you back?
Yep.
Cool. I described what appears to be a band of orcs that are on patrol of sorts. You hear Gon describe the way the orcs like war paint is painted, and it sounds very familiar to you. You recall being a young half orc and seeing this war paint regularly.
All right. Can you describe the war paint?
Yeah, sure. So what Gon is describing is orcs purplish skin, and they have white paint on their face that appears to be like finger bones, kind of in like a crown kind of visage with like stripings on their cheeks, and you can recall this to be kind of the war paint of the orcs that your line comes from.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, guys, I have a phone call. Give me 5 seconds. A little bit more than 5 seconds.
So has anybody gone up to them, or is it just
No, I
it's
sent
just
out my
Robbie?
just to get info, but we're considering negotiating with them because the orcs are talking about finding the people who have been chopping down the trees and like putting an axe to their head. So
Okay.
we could help them, but it might take some convincing. And just because we want to know more about them and see if like they're willing to work with us, we're seeing if anybody knows about these orcs because they have, icons and war paint that's specific only to them.
Right.
Yeah, and so we don't know how friendly they're going to be to us. I initially was considering just going up and talking to them because like I like the forest, I like nature. I don't really like that someone's destroying it either. But like if they're going to be hostile right off the bat, we might as well just get the jump on them.
All right.
So I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. I would probably ask Ronnie a little bit more about what you know about this group or this tribe or whatever they are.
Yeah. Should I just do like a history check when he gets back?
You need. I mean, he'll tell you, but like just ask. What do I know about them? Are they friendly? Or anything like that? Like, are they going to be okay with non-orcs? Right? Because like if they just see this group of like completely well, I mean, you're half orc, but the rest of us obviously aren't. So like, are they just going to attack on sight if they see a human? Like, we kind of need to know like a little bit more about how we can expect them to react. He'll tell you if you know or not. Like that'll be up to him, and then you can roll probably if he decides to go that way. But that's sort of usually the way the interactions will go. You'll be like, do I know this? Do I know that? Like that kind of thing.
Right.
Or sometimes I've every now and then I take the liberty. I'm like, oh, I know these guys. They're blah blah blah, and just sort of roll with it. And either it works or it doesn't. Right? He'll be like, no, that's not at all what they are. But sometimes I'll be like, yeah, like my best friend growing up looked like this, and I know exactly how to talk to them and all that kind of shit. So it just depends on like where you decide to go with it. And Ronnie's back.
Yeah, I'm back. And to Dave's point, yeah, it's really like up to you, like how you want to handle this is however you choose. But essentially, yeah, this is the clan of your father.
Oh shit!
Oh
Oh.
shit.
Here we go.
Daddy?
Just got interesting. Daddy, are you my father?
He just walked like a little kid. He just walks up to a group of 5 male orcs.
Yeah, Dad.
Dad?
Yeah. So what are we doing, guys?
What more do I know about this clan, Ron?
Well, a lot of that you can kind of tell me because this would be you know that this clan. Well, I guess let me ask you this: how much time would you have spent with the orc side of things? Because I know you said you mostly grew up like in the city, like with your like human side, but how much time have you spent with orcs?
I'd say, I think last time we spoke on it, I think we was like up to like, right before the teens. So I was like maybe 12 years of my age.
Yeah. So this is like how you like where you would have grown up, kind of,
Yeah.
before you went off to the city. Yeah, you'll remember that the clan lives in this forest here, and like I said, this is kind of where you grew up. You're at home in this forest, so you can get around just fine. Because you spent most of your childhood here. You'll remember that your clan was had a very prominent figure. The like head of your clan was killed about like 20 years or so ago. You were a small child. That clan head was famous for having a crown made of bones that they wore, and it was like a symbol of power for that particular strong orc like priest of sorts. And in the wake of that, the clan itself had really decided to like bolster itself and bolster its defenses, and never wanted to have to experience that kind of defeat again. So they really would have focused on just like training their like young youth and into strong warriors, and getting stronger and upping their defenses they, started patrolling the forest a little bit more, becoming more and more violent and more defensively sound than anything else. Having lost the head priestess, 20 or so years ago, they are very wary of outsiders, very wary of anybody that poses a threat to them.
Okay.
Give me a history check.
$13.
You haven't thought of this in such a long time, but hearing the description of the war paint, you remember seeing the crown of bones that it is supposed to represent. You remember the name Calthiar as the
Oh man.
head priestess that was killed all those years ago
Calthiar.
by a roaming party.
Okay. How far are they from where we're at right now?
I'd say you're a good 60 feet or so away, if I had to guess. I haven't actually measured it out, but yeah, I'd say about 60 feet.
All right.
I think where I was initially planning on just rushing in there and talking to them, I see Palpius hesitate a little, and I'm looking at him now. Like, what do we do here?
I think I'll turn to you, Box, and say, I feel like I need to approach them.
And Gon will look at Tybalt and Vox and make sure that he makes eye contact, and look at Palpius and say, "We've got your back."
And I
Okay,
nod
nice.
affirmatively. I'll take cover in a tree. I'll sneak into a tree or something and make sure I got a shot.
And
In case things go south.
as we start to kind of not move just yet, but turn to face the way that the orcs are going, and I find a patch of dirt on the floor and dig my fingers in there and then just slide it across my cheeks.
Are the orcs on the move, Ronnie, or are they just standing there?
They're investigating the area. They you can clearly see that there's been some trees cut down where they're standing. They're kind of checking it out, looking for clues, kind of talking amongst themselves.
Okay.
Is
All right, Palpius,
this
take the lead. Go
is
ahead.
this
Go
area
ahead.
here the hole? Is that
Yeah,
where
what
a
is
tree's
the
been ripped out, or is it does it go
That
deep?
that looks like it might be like a tree stump. Yeah, that has been cut open, maybe turned into a wall of sorts.
Okay, depending on how deep it is, that's where Tybalt would hop in and hide. But I don't know if it goes deep.
Yeah, I would say it's deep enough that you could comfortably stand in and hide if that's what you'd like to do.
Okay, yeah. Or maybe just behind it if it's big enough to hide behind.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh man, I thought today was Father's Day. I just
Get way.
Really?
Wait, what?
Really, Ronnie?
I thought it was today.
No, dude. You're a week off.
You
Yeah.
sent it to your dad? What?
Yeah.
Idiot. What did he say to you?
Nothing yet.
Probably showing it to your mom. Look at this guy.
This is your kid, not my kid.
Your kid. What's wrong with him?
Yeah. Oh my god. Cool. Yeah. So what are we doing, guys?
Well, I'm gonna move closer. I can only move 40, right?
Yeah.
I'd be posting up somewhere in this general area as long as I have a good shot. I'm looking for something where I can climb a tree with my
Yeah.
spider boots.
As long as it's within your like movement,
Spider.
you can do so.
All right,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go ahead and move. I'm probably gonna move in between that clearance where between Tybalt and where Vox says is gonna go. That way it doesn't seem like I'm approaching sneaking.
Yeah, you're just trying to be apparent and
Mm-hmm. So 40 feet would be right in there. Right there.
cool. And how about you, Don?
I will move closer. And I'll actually move kind of where Vox is, but in my own tree, just so that, in the approach of Palpius, I'm not seen. Yeah, that's a good spot.
Mhm.
And for me, like I said, I'm looking for somewhere where I have a good, clear shot of wherever Palpius is going to be. So whether it be there, like if I could shoot downwards underneath the canopy, if not, I might pick a slightly different spot.
Yeah, you'd really have to look at like the like lines of sight because like this is a pretty tree dense location. So
So if I was like right here, this would be a pretty clear shot, right?
that would probably be better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I'm planning on moving kind of where Robbie is right now.
All right. So I'd be probably posted up in these trees somewhere where I can have a pretty clear shot here, but still be like hidden.
Yeah. All right. As you approach Halpius, how would you like to interact?
Hey, cabron.
No manches. So should I move closer? Cause can they hear me at like this distance?
I would say moving closer would probably be well,
Cause
you could yell, you know?
cause Ardum is about like 25 feet from me.
Yeah.
I think I'll move it a little bit closer, but not too. Probably move within 10 feet of them.
Sure. Yeah. And we can say you move kind of to where this like you said, kind of by where Ravi is, like right
Yeah.
here. Is that cool?
Yeah, right there.
All right. Like what do you do or say or
Well, I approach calmly and be like, "Hello there."
hello there.
Hello there.
Hey, mate.
As they're I imagine you just drop down and be like, hello there. Everyone style. As they're kind of talking amongst themselves, they, you catch their attention and they turn around and they said, who goes there?
But I get his eye, Palpius.
Palpius. We don't know any Palpius here.
Be like, I don't know you guys either, but your face paint and they're wearing the crowns too, right?
No, it's mostly just face paint, like to look like
Okay. Like, I am familiar with that from a long time ago. I tell them, I mean no harm, and I'm here to help investigate, this tree clearing that has happened.
What's your dad's name? Do you
I
tell
don't
them?
What was his
Arda,
name?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought I wasn't I related to that guy that was
Yeah, he said your dad was a member of this tribe.
All right.
I mean, you could just pick a name, but like I was just wondering if you tell them that your dad is part of them or what.
Let me just generate a weird name. Since Alvador is taken.
Yeah, I fucking rocked Salvador, all right?
Yeah, I just thought of a cool idea of having like a necromancer build, but have it be like a lizard person, and he could be Salamancer.
Fuck yeah, Salamancer. That'd be so dope.
All right. So random generator. I kind of like it. Wogar.
And they'll say, Wolgar was lost years ago in the raid on our camp. How do you know that name?
Be like, he was my father.
And you can see Baylor kind of scratches his chin and he says, I think Wolgar did have a little runt running around back then, but we haven't seen him in ages.
Guess I'll respond. I left the clan at the age of 12 and was raised by my human mother in the city.
And you'll see that Ergon speaks up, and he seems to be the one that has that carries a bit more authority with him. You can see just by his like equipment, he's a little bit better fitted. His weapons look a little bit nicer. And he'll speak up and say, so then you're an outsider.
And I'll be like, I am both an outsider and part of this clan.
What are you doing here? Why are you in this portion of the forest?
We're traveling to where again?
Back to Fandolin, to the
Okay.
town.
Said we? Who are you with? Where are your allies that you claim to say?
Hold up. That's not what I said. I was just asking the group. Cálmate, Ron. I wanted to know the name of the town.
It's
Damn,
Fandolin.
bro. Took the gun on me.
Hey,
I would just be like, I was on my way back to Famlin.
and you're
When I-
traveling alone? These woods aren't safe to travel alone.
I don't know if I should say that I'm with you guys right now.
That's your goal, buddy.
Fuck it. I'd be like, I am with a group of friends.
And you'll see as you say that, they all kind of start to grip their weapons.
You better be ready to let those arrows fly, Vox.
And Ergon says, friends. I don't see any friends. If you're trying to pull a fast one on us, and he pulls out his greatsword and he says, we're ready.
All right. And to which I say, if I wanted to pull a fast one, you guys wouldn't see us coming. That's why my axe is sheatheded. I mean no harm. I repeat again.
Tell your friends to come out where we can see them.
And I wish, as long as you do not respond in aggression.
any aggression will be met with equal aggression on our end.
I'd be like, fair enough. And then I shout out to Vox, Tibble, and Gone to, you know, show themselves.
And
Okay.
since I hear Palpius and just from a distance hear the murmuring but not being able to make anything out, I'll start to move in and make my presence known. I'm not sneaking around, just walking up like normal. And yeah, just pretty much just join him and find myself right about here when I get to my end path.
So, Ronnie, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. When I hunters mark somebody, it only has a verbal component. Would they know that they're hunters marked?
I don't think so.
How do
I
you
don't think so either.
how do you cast it?
It's just
Verbal?
verbal components.
Hmm.
So there's no visual component. It just says they're mystically marked. So it doesn't say that they like get any kind of visual.
Right.
I think it's just I can hone in on them.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the way it sounds like is kind of like the way a camera works is like you
The focus.
focus on them, yeah, and
Yeah,
everything else blurs
exactly.
out, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way I see it, but I'll leave it up to Ronnie. We've
Yeah,
never really talked
I
about
would
that.
say like if you don't want there to be a physical mark, then I don't think there has to be.
Okay.
I think you can just say that like maybe they like have a shimmer to them that only you can see.
Okay.
Ronnie,
So go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
In my time of studying, would I know the neutral way of greeting an orc? Somebody who is not a friend, not a foe, but just like a way to neutrally greet orcs.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say having been educated in etiquettes and proper ways to address people of power, proper ways to address people below you, and especially because your family has spent like many vacations kind of traversing through this forest to different locales, like you would have been trained on like how to deal with orcs, because orcs are kind of live in this forest. You would have encountered them in the past, and you would have been taught by the like expedition leaders on like what to do in case of an orc encounter. So you would definitely know how to like greet orcs. And I don't know what the answer is right now, but
Yeah.
like you just say that, yeah, you're more than capable of
Okay.
in a very like diplomatic sense.
Yeah. And if you allow me, I'll just like make something up and
Yeah.
do one of like walk up to my marker just where I'm right next to Palpius and look at the orcs and identify the leader and look at him and just do one of those like head nods, like I think a down head nod. But
Yeah.
as I do a down head nod, just do a grunt, just or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can say that, yeah, that's like a sign of like respect, like you're acknowledging his authority in a sense, where you just yeah, I like that. That's cool. Give yourself inspiration.
Cool. Thank you.
And then Tybalt, you're coming around the side there.
Yeah, coming around the side. As I do, I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to make my eyes pitch black and just
Nice.
sort of intimidate. And also, whenever I speak, I'll use thaumaturgy to make my voice just 3 times as loud.
Yeah, and as you come out from the hollow tree stump there and you make your way out from the trees, Kanan looks over at you and goes, "Whoa, what the fuck's up with that guy's eyes?"
And I'll say that because I can do 3 thaumaturgies at the same time.
Yeah.
As my voice booms 3 times as loud, there's also going to be tremors. as well
Okay.
to my voice, and I'll say in Orcish, "You need not worry." Like,
Do you speak Orcish?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
and Tibble will just sit down on the stump, but maintain his appearance.
Yeah. As you speak in Orcish, does anybody else speak Orc?
I do.
Gon does not.
Cool. So, Gon, you're the only one that really wouldn't understand it, but I would say that judging off of Palpius and Vox's reactions, you feel at ease with, and also you trust him, right? You trust him to have the best interest of your group in mind. So, although you don't understand what he's saying, like you kind of expect to understand the gist of it. You know that he's presenting himself in a non-confrontational manner. Ergon will look over at you, Tybalt, and say, I don't know what kind of sorcery this is, but you speak my language and you travel with a member of our clan, whether it be former or not. He is of our clan. What are you doing here? What are you looking for?
He's speaking directly at me.
Yep.
Tybalt says, "We've been fighting cultists that have infiltrated the forests. We know that they've been uprooting your people, causing you to flee. Before that, there was a dragon that was terrorizing the lands. And there's a future threat of another dragon, and we're investigating the cults to stop them from bringing any more terror to these lands."
Ergon will kind of look at the rest of the party, and they'll like the other orcs will kind of like nod at him, and he'll say, yes, these cultists have been a menace. We've been dealing with them as we come across them. I sense that you speak the truth. What is your goal? What are you?
With that, I will cast Hunter's Mark on Aragon silently, quietly, undetectedly. And I will I jump out of the tree and walk towards them a little. Once I get closer, I'm going to use my mold earth. This sort of creates waves in the ground that will take me there without walking, just sort of like if the ground is all of a sudden an ocean.
Yeah.
And it's like the waves of the earth just moving around carry me in. And I will say, we mean you no harm unless you want harm. We're merely passing through, but anyone destroying this forest also deserves my wrath. I am one with this forest. I've spent a lot of time here. I don't appreciate anybody destroying it.
And what's this fucking idiot's name? Delphin. Delphin will say, I know this one. I've heard tales of a rock man and his lightning partner. I believe he speaks the truth. Ergon will turn to you, Vox, and say, if you are who you say you are, where is your mate? Where is this lightning creature?
I've been searching for years. I don't know. No one seems to have an answer.
And they'll all kind of like look at each other. And then Ergon will say, Palpius, is this an ally of yours? Do you trust him?
Do I trust Fox?
well,
Wow. About that.
Having the conversation you just had.
Right. I'd say I do trust him. I'd say I've gone into battles with him, and he has been at my back.
Ergon will say, if that's the case, I will trust he is who he says he is. However, I find it odd that you are not with this person that you've been rumored to have been with all these years. Why is that?
You talking to me?
Yep.
We were separated long ago. I don't have time to get into the details. As much as I wish I was still with her, that's not the case.
And he says, I see. I guess I don't have time to give you the details of the information I have either.
If you have information on Mistral, you will tell me.
I think not. I think we'll let you pass through this forest and you can be on your way. And Palpius, should you prove yourself worthy, you may one day earn your war paint as well. But that is to be decided at a later date.
I'm going to get closer. What's it going to take for you to tell me what you know about Mistral?
Well, that depends. What are you willing to give? You claim to be an ally of the forest, a forest that we live and die in. This forest is as much a part of our culture as it is, as we are to it. If you truly are an ally of the forest, what can you contribute to its protection and safety?
I can find whoever's doing this. Clearly you can't.
It doesn't appear that you've found them yet.
I didn't know this was a problem.
Then clearly you're not as in tune with the forest as you might say.
I've had a lot on my plate. What's your name? I'm Voxaslan Nakada.
I am Ergon, tribe Caltheon.
I've had a lot on my plate that goes beyond this forest. As much as I would love to be in tune with every element and every aspect of it. Quite frankly, I haven't had time. There is a greater evil that threatens the entirety of this area beyond just this forest. And that has consumed a lot of my time, more than I would like. But I need to know what you know about Mistral. And I'm willing to work with you and what's the right word? Compensate you in whatever it might take. I need to know.
And Aragon says, again, I tell you, what can you contribute to the safety of the forest? In which ways can you bolster its defenses?
If I find who's doing this, will you tell me everything you know?
He says, I'd be willing to exchange information for any sort of tributes.
What kind of tribute, Aragon?
What can you give?
Do you value gold?
Gold is not a priority for us. We live off the lands. But in equipment, anything to help.
I will pull out my bag of magic beans. I'm serious.
I know you
Che
are.
frijoles, no.
I have a bag of magic beans. I'm not fucking around.
Since when?
I do. I have a bag of fucking magic beans.
Did you jack them off, you know?
Did he jack him off? Who? Who did you jack off? Who did you jack off?
No,
for this
no,
beat?
no. That was all last game. You know, we got all that out of our systems that time.
Nah, he jacked Jack.
Who did you jack off for these beans?
He jacked Jack.
Jack's beanstalk?
He had to climb it for sure.
Oh, I bet he did, bro. I bet he climbed it up and down many times.
I will pull out my bag of magic beans. This is some fucking Jack and the Giant Beanstalk shit.
No,
I never thought I'd use them in this way. I pull out the beans. I don't even remember how many are in here. I had a note at some point, but I think you just said you'd give me max on them. Each of these beans.
I like how he just casually threw that out there. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure you said I could have
I
them.
think you did, because otherwise I would have written it down if you gave me less.
Said it so casually.
sounds like something Ron would do, though.
I'm pretty sure he gave me maximum
Promise
beans.
you something, and then in the end, be like, no, I didn't.
Because I would have taken note if it was less. Anyway, pull out the beans. These are wildly chaotic. I don't know if you are the type to like chaos, Argon, but these can either greatly replenish the forest. They might make a demon sprout. It's volatile, to say the least. I don't have much else to offer, but if anything's going to help with the ecology of this forest, this is it.
Beans
I'll
tend to
offer
be
you
volatile.
half of the beans. I'll give you half of my beans that may very well help replenish whatever's been destroyed and cut down here.
And they'll kind of like huddle up and talk amongst themselves. And then they're going to pop his head up and say, all the beans are nothing.
Híjole.
No,
That
it's-
depends on what you can offer. What can you tell me?
I have plenty of information. like I said, we've been fighting these cults for quite some time, and we're really good at torture. We've gotten quite a bit of information to give.
Do I believe him?
Roll an insight check.
17.
Yeah, you do believe him.
Tibble at this speaks out and says, "Is she on land or sea?"
Ergon will look over at you, Tybalt, and crack a grin as he says, this one's asking the right questions.
Answer correctly and you'll get what you want.
Damn, Tybalt.
Yeah, I know them. Kanan will slip up and he'll say, didn't the last report say that she was out at sea? And then Ergon will kind of like smack him a little bit and be like,
And to that, Tibble looks over at Vox and just nods his head in agreement.
Fine. I'll give you the entire bag. You will tell me everything you know. And let this be the first part of a truce. Hopefully we can work together. And hopefully this proves to you that I care about the Force as much as you do.
Ergon will take the bag of beans and say, I believe you when you say you care about the forest. Palpius is the forest. You ensure his safety, and we will work with you in the defense of the forest.
He's a little softy.
Fair enough.
He'll say, I have information that Mistral is alive. She's been rumored to be out at sea with a warship made of bones. Her power extends across the coast as legions follow her. She's become very powerful, almost as if her power has been granted by the gods themselves.
What is she doing with the power? Is she destroying or is she being productive?
She is setting up locations across the coast, seemingly points of worship for her gods. We found many of her minions in our forest, expanding their influence and range, and with that, their power. And he'll reach into like a satchel he has and pull out a small figurine and he'll hand it over to you, Vox. And he'll say, "We found this on one of her minions, and it matches the totem that you still have from."
Okay. Oh man, deep breath as the realization sets in. And quite frankly, I think Vox is just at a loss for words at that point.
Tybalt, you notice that Vox is visibly disturbed by this.
And Tybalt, in an effort to console, says, Vox, there has to be a reason she's doing this. She may not be bad. It may just be a means to an end.
I have to find her, Tybalt. I can't. I believe what I'm hearing, but I don't know how this happened. It's only been a couple of years, but this is extreme.
We'll find out. Evil always preys on those who are vulnerable. She just may be lost, but not gone.
And God's like, "No, I'm over here."
I'm gone.
Tybalt, I need you to help me send her a message if you can. I don't know if that's going to get through or not, but
I can. I've seen her in a vision. I knew she was on the ship.
okay. Unless there's anything else, it's a great stopping point for me. Obviously, you guys can keep going, but is there anything else, Ronnie, before I go?
No, we can wrap it up. Ergon will say, Palpius, take care of yourself and conduct yourself with the fury of Groomsh himself. Prove your valor and earn your stripes. Vox. Like we said, Palpius is a member of this clan and therefore a member of this forest itself. Have his back. And uphold your word that you care about the forest as much as you say. And he looks to you, Gon, and Tybalt, and he says, I trust that you will do what you can to set the world right. There are many evils out there, and you are clearly in the midst of it all. If push comes to shove, call on us for help. We will answer.
We appreciate the help.
And he's Clan Keltiar.
Yep.
How do you spell that?
Kelthiar. How cool it is to see homebrew come back into the story. I love it.
Calthiar? How do you spell it again?
Keltiar. Kelthiar.
Yeah. Clan Calthiar of Wyvern Tor. And that's Wyvern. Wyvern Tor. Tor.
Wait. W-I.
WY.
Oh, W-Y, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Ronnie. It's about time I got some news for her.
Bro, I've been trying to drop news of her for a long time, but like every time the opportunity arose, you just weren't there. Like
I know.
there have been so many sessions where I'm like, here's the time, and you're like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it. And I'm like, fuck.
Every time we hit the clan activities, right?
Yeah.
I would
Who
love to
is
stay in
this
chat.
person,
Thank you
though?
so
That's what I'm
much.
curious.
Don't mean to cut it short, but I do gotta go. So
Yeah,
don't
no
let
worries.
my brevity affect anything. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, no, we can wrap, but I'm down to stay on for a little bit just because I know for Palpius, like it's a lot for a lot of info.
Yeah. Yeah,
A lot of info.
I'm gonna AFK and I'll be back.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to try and drop some Palpius lore and just kind of round out his character a little bit more, add a little bit more depth to him, you know. Definitely wanting to expand on that a bit. But yeah, I would say that with that, the clan, you know, bids you adieu and you know, continues on their way. You guys are able to make your way out of the forest. It's still about like a 3 days like journey back to Phandalin.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a ways to go.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so we're wrapping up, right?
If you guys want to, sure.
Yeah, let's do it. That way we don't, because there's gonna be some. I feel like we need Vox, we need Ebrath for the trip back and to play out some stuff.
Yeah, like you definitely want them there for the conversations with people in town and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, cool. It's a quick, short little sesh. Got a little lore out of it.
Yeah.
But a good place to stop for sure. Yeah, I really wanted to just, like I said, round out Palpius a little bit more and just add a little bit more depth to him. I was curious to see how you guys would handle this because I mean it could have gone south, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought Vox was going to.
I thought you were going to.
Well, I did until, you know, you told me that, hey, that's their pain and all that, you know, I'm familiar, so I can't just go fucking, you know, berserk on their ass.
Yeah, well, I mean you could, but I think it's more beneficial for you not to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely wanted to start integrating your backstory a little bit more into the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just a way to do that, you know, and we'll add a little bit more. We'll kind of use this as like the basis to add stuff from your story into the main story. And yeah, we've got plenty of stuff to figure out. You know, like you said, you got to figure out who this person is to Vox that you're hearing about all of a sudden.
Yeah. Why you guys are familiar with the clan, you know?
Yeah. Well, we weren't familiar with your family clan, but we know orc culture through Ragongar. So there's that. And then Tybalt would have just interacted a lot with like orcs in as he was growing up. That's how he knows what does he know? He knows Orcish, Elvish, Dwarvish, and Common. Which, by the way, Vox, Dave's character, didn't know Common.
I don't know how he managed that. Like, I thought that was just like a default.
Yeah, I guess not. Which
So
Common is like how everybody, the standard
it's like
language. Yeah.
It's like, you know, in Star Wars, like everybody speaks like whatever the like English is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like
And
that.
they have their own language.
Shit. What language do I know now that I think about it?
It says so on your character sheet.
On their description, or what?
On your character sheet, where is it? It's
It's
on
like
like
on
bottom
the
left.
left, yeah, bottom left, right under your
Oh, yeah.
senses. It's
Just
proficiencies and
common and
languages.
orc.
Yeah, so you speak common and orc. Yeah.
And it is possible to learn other languages. It just takes a little bit of time. Like with Blast, I was learning um, Gnomish, and I got a quarter of the way there.
Yeah, you guys just never did it again. Like,
Well, that's when everything started to like go down, and then Blast
Kinda.
was gone. Yeah,
well, you have other people in your party that speak Gnomish, so
yeah,
in your so like the way I envision it is like during times of like downtime when you guys are like sitting around the campfire or like at the inn, for the night, like you could spend some time like practicing,
Mhm.
And the way I envision it is like it would be 4 like ability checks,
Mhm.
and like as you get more proficient, the DC would get lower,
Yeah,
and then if
yeah,
you complete 4 of them, then hey, you successfully learn Gnomish. But that
yeah.
way, it's not just like it takes you a couple tries, and you don't just get it just because.
Right. Absolutely. Unless it's
And
like natural 20, and it's like, all right,
yeah,
well,
like a natural 20 would be 2. Like I count that as like two wins.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and I mean, like we can say you guys could do that with a lot of stuff. Like if you wanted to try to like learn something else or whatever, like we can figure it out.
yeah. I want Tibble to eventually get to the point where he can learn how to uh not craft craft health potions or health potion alternatives. But that can be like later
Yeah. Well, I think there is a like feat for that.
path.
Is there?
Let's see.
Okay, so you need access to the healing spell Cure Wounds, the
Mhm,
knowledge of how to create a potion, a formula or a schematic,
mhm.
50 gold pieces of materials, 2 days worth of uninterrupted crafting time, and be at least set level 3.
Oh, then yeah.
Um,
Oh, proficiency with herbalism.
yeah, I was gonna say I think there's like a kit or something, and I guess that herbalism would be the kit. Good thing you
Two
guys
days of crafting time.
we
Fuck.
we can kind of play around with that.
Yeah.
um,
Jeez.
yeah, yeah, and I mean,
Proficiency.
luckily you guys know an herbalist in town.
Yeah. We can learn from. Because I always get criticized for not healing. I'd be like, here you go, heal
You're
yourselves.
the Laura Bailey of this campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told you were a healer, and I was disappointed to come out that you're really not.
I heal when it matters.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm gonna stop the stream.